You know, I get asked a lot about concealed carry guns. What's the best one for me and all this kind of stuff. And I love getting these questions because I know that the person asking now has the wheels turning inside their head. They want to be able to protect themselves. And regardless wherever that inspiration comes from, at that point, I kind of take on the responsibility to lead them in the best possible direction. And there's 5 in particular that I'm going to tell you today that I recommend more than any other. Now, these aren't necessarily my 5 favorites, although I do have some favorites on here. I've covered those in previous videos, but these tend to fit the bill better than some of the others, even some of my own favorites, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Now, keep in mind, normally when I get this question, I then ask another question. Are you just looking at concealed carry? Is your significant other going to be using it? Are you going to try to train her? Are you also going to use it for home defense? And normally the answer I get in return is, yeah, I wanted to do all those things. And so it's kind of hard to pick one gun that's going to do all those things well, but I'm going to try to give you a good variety here. And like I said, these are the 5 I recommend the most for one reason or another. And of course, we'll cover those reasons as well. And no, the Sky is not one that I recommend to people, but when it comes to budget options, the Walther PPS M2 is definitely one. Now, I used to recommend this a lot, especially pre-COVID, because you could find these things sometimes for, you know, $250, dude, like really. And so now mid 300s, sometimes under 400. I've seen some places with the LE editions almost $500, which is just insane, okay? But regardless, this is still a really good option. Now, think of concealed carry guns in generations. This I would consider like Gen 1 single stack, meaning really thin, concealable, but low capacity. So now, if you will, the Gen 2s, what started with the P365, you now have higher capacity guns that are the same size or smaller. Standard, this is going to come with a 6-round magazine, okay, just like that. The extended is a 7, right? So it fits your hand really well. One of the most comfortable grip texturings on the market. One of the best triggers in these small guns on the market. Decent set of sights right there. The LE version, of course, comes with night sights, and I think it comes with 3 magazines too. This gun is fantastic and has been for a long time. I don't ever plan on getting rid of it. Sometimes I still do carry it. It's not very often anymore, but this is a great gun. Another one I would throw in here is the original, or not the original, but the M2.0 Shield. They're about the same price. The Shield is going to give you a 7-round base configuration and an 8-round extended. What's funny is if you look at the 7-round PPS and a Glock 19, which is 15 rounds, the Glock 19 is on the bottom. Look at the difference right there. There ain't much, dude. So the ability for these companies to come as far as they have, I want another good example here. Let's see. This is an X Macro, right? And so this isn't one I recommend a lot, but I will say the X Macro is an 18-round gun. The PPS on top is 7. So that's how far we've come in magazine design and gun design. But still, overall, this is one that I've recommended to quite a few people, man. And it's still a good option in 2023. When it comes to another budget option that I recommend a lot, well, let me show you one I don't really recommend a lot, okay? Now, the DB9, as far as Diamondback guns, besides the DBX, pistol-wise, this thing has been fantastic, man. But it's low in capacity, just like the PPS M2, right? 6 rounds, and it is a small 9mm. And so if you're looking to train somebody, right, you don't want to go this small. People look at this gun in a gun shop and they'll be with their significant other and be like, oh man, that's going to fit their hand so well. I promise you, unless you are dealing with an experienced shooter, you do not want to introduce them to shooting with something like this. It's a lot of recoil, it's super snappy, and yeah, it's designed to fit in your pocket or, you know, a purse or whatever and be super discreet and concealable. But if you're going to be training somebody and this is going to be their first carry gun, I do not recommend this at all. If you want to go with a good budget option though, the Taurus GX4 might be a better option. And the reason I say that, let's look at them. Spec-wise, right? If we look at the Taurus, which is on bottom, it's 11 rounds, and the DB9 is 6, okay? Taurus, again, is in that second gen of deep concealment carry guns, right? You have a decent set of sights, blacked out in the rear, white front dot right there. You do have a decent trigger, pretty good trigger, and actually a pretty good shooter. The grip texturing is super comfortable, and yet it's still small enough where it could be concealed. I'd much rather, you know, this is not the best training gun. Don't get this twisted, but I'd much rather try to teach somebody on something like this than the DB9, okay, or any small gun like this. The smaller the gun, the less weight, the more recoil, and less enjoyable it's going to be for a new shooter if you're trying to train somebody, or if this is something you want to pass off to a loved one to try to protect themselves. So the Taurus GX4, when it comes to pricing, front and rear slide serrations, it has been a really good gun. Now, a little asterisk here, I actually had a viewer reach out, and there was some stuff with Taurus in Brazil and talking about, you know, gun control. And man, it seems like all these companies that are based outside of the US but have a US manufacturing, whether plant or distributor, or, you know, this is where they put them together or whatever, all of them have been involved in some kind of gun control, or not wanting to, you know, sell guns to the American public, or not really supporting that, even though they do. I don't know. But regardless, it's just a little caveat there. It sucks. Trust me, it's not an excuse, but I have recommended this gun quite a bit to people on a budget. Now, here's one I recommend, especially to somebody that wants to train a new shooter, women, people that are older, whatever, man. This is the Shield EZ. Now, this one's a little bit more tricked out. The lightning cuts in the slide, the ported barrel, the fiber optic sights, but even the standard Shield EZ. There's one big thing this gun has that most guns do not. It's got an internal hammer, and the way they've designed it, the slide is so easy to pull back. So if you're trying to teach somebody on a semi-auto, this is going to be much easier to do that. You can get them with or without a safety. Of course, they have the grip safety here. Most experienced shooters don't like that, including myself, but it's passive. I kind of wish it just wasn't even there. But it's going to be on the heavier side of carry guns, okay? And what that's going to do for you is it's going to allow whoever it is that you're teaching, or maybe even yourself, to first of all get a full grip. It's bigger than some of your other carry guns, and it comes with 2 8-round mags, by the way. I'd show you those, but this isn't the first, or is it going to be the last time that I've lost a magazine? Not really lost. It's somewhere around here, and I can't find it. But as soon as I make this video public, I will then come across them, I promise you. But regardless, 2 8-round mags, easy to load mags, easy to rack gun, an easy gun to shoot as well, because it is a little bit heavier and it is a little bit bigger, okay? So for deep concealment, I know Mrs. Headshot has a real tough time carrying this inside the waistband. When it comes to guns this side, she'll carry them outside the waistband at that point, because she wears tighter fitting clothing. It just doesn't work for her in that situation, okay? But you get a really decent trigger. Again, this one's a little more tricked out from the Performance Center. But you get a gun that is small enough to carry and you know, for a lot of people, yet big enough to train on, and easy to manipulate, and really easy to show a bunch of different people how to use this gun. Now, another one I used to recommend all the time, and I still recommend it sometimes, is the LCP Max. So recently, I took the LCP Max and the Glock 42 out. I just kind of wanted to get a refresher on these two, and, you know, just compare them a little bit. You know, it'd been a while since I've shot, you know, either one of them. And I was really surprised when I had them back to back how much better the 42 is as far as the felt recoil and just the comfortability of it. The LCP Max, this is a small gun. I mean, it's a 10-round, 380 little pocket rocket, dude. And they've upgraded the trigger, of course, from the original LCP. They have a night sight on there with a blacked out rear sight. They did a really good job. When it comes to deep concealment, pocket guns, The LCP Max is good. It's just snappy in the hand, man. And again, this kind of goes back to the training thing. People want something that they can kind of teach on, and it's never just concealed carry starting out, right? Because this might be their first gun and they want to do a variety of different things with it. I'd hate to try to teach somebody with a gun like this. This is a gun designed for 3, 5, 7 yards maybe, and somebody right on top of you, and you need to stop that attack. And in that purpose, and for a deep concealment gun, minimal, very minimal printing, this thing is going to do an incredible job. But for that multi-purpose gun, I think I like the 42 better. It only comes with 6 rounds, but again, because it is a little bit bigger, when we look at these things side by side, it's crazy how small the LCP is, dude. It really is. Now, height-wise, they're about the same. So the LCP wins there because, it's got 10 rounds compared to 6 in the 42. 42 being one of those Gen 1 carry guns, if you will. But look how much smaller the LCP is there. So the 42 at least gives you, more to hold on to, a little bit bigger of a 380. But again, the benefits for teaching somebody and the benefits here as far as a shooter, I think can outweigh the benefits of the really convenient size of the LCP Max. Again, I like the LCP Max just as a carry gun. I think, I don't know, man. I think if somebody comes to me and they want a pocket gun, a 380 or whatever, I really like the 42, man. I like them both, but I think I'll start recommending this one a little bit more than what I have. Now, if you want to step up and still have a relatively small gun, the 43 is a little bit bigger, but also the P365, the regular P365 with a flush base magazine could be a good option too. And no, I know somebody's going to say, well, you could take a mag extension and make this thing, 50 rounds if you want. No, I don't use those. I don't trust them. I'm sure there's some good ones, but I use OEM magazines only as much as I possibly can. I think the only gun I haven't done that is the frickin' Chris Vector we did a review on. But OEM mags, no mag extensions, no trigger jobs, nothing on my carry guns. I don't believe in it. I don't trust it. And so I run OE mags only. So 6+1 in the pipe. If you want more rounds, carry a spare magazine. You should do that anyways because the magazine is a wear item and that's something that could fail in the gun. And the last gun, now I want y'all to, I want you to take a little guess here. What do you think the last gun is going to be? If you're familiar with my channel, you may or may not be surprised. You probably won't be surprised actually. But I want to start hearing those guesses. Pause the video, don't cheat. You got your guesses in? I hope you do, no cheating. The one I recommend the most, the Shield Plus. This thing, for the price, it is incredible. Front and rear slide serrations, these guys have done such a good job with that trigger. Check this out. Boom. You can get these in a multitude of different configurations. The Performance Center with fiber optic sights, you can get them optics ready. The 4-inch barrel, the 3.1-inch barrel. When it comes to an amazing shooting concealed carry gun, the Shield Plus has been one that I've recommended since I've got this thing. It's been the one that I've recommended the most to people. Now, here's the thing. You may look at this and you may, man, my hands are too small for that gun. Well, okay, hold up. Hold up. Well, come on. What about the 13 round mag? Okay, this is a 10. 13. You're like, nah, it's still too small. Okay, all right, give me a second. What about the 15 rounder? Come on, man, that's a full-size grip right there. So that's the benefit and the lovely part about this gun. Not only does it shoot like a bear gun, not only is it a gun that you can train somebody on easily, probably easier than any of these others, except maybe the Shield EZ. But you have different mag compatibility here. So if you want to go to the range and you want to teach that person, boom, pop in the 15 round. You want to carry that so it's a little bit easier, less printing, all that good stuff, carry the 10 round. It's right under 20 ounces, right in that 20 ounce range actually. So it's gonna be heavy enough where you're not gonna feel a ton of felt recoil, okay? But it's gonna be light enough and small enough in this configuration here where it can be carried easily. And you know, when it comes down to it, man, it doesn't have to be the smallest gun. Normally, the smaller the gun, the more it's going to be sucked to just shoot and try to teach somebody on. When it comes to carry guns, to me, this is the cream of the crop. Now, if you want to find out any more information on these guns, I've done full reviews on all of them. And some of y'all may notice that there's some guns that I really like that I've left off of this list for one reason or another, like the MC9. Recently did a review on that, and I'll be doing a comparison on those two very soon. The reason I left it off is I haven't had it long enough to really start recommending it to people, but it could be one that I do, and I may actually, because it is really good. The Spectre Comp. I love this gun, man. This is in my top 5 favorite carry guns, but not one I generally recommend because it's so expensive. Now the X Macro kind of falls in the same line with the MC9. It may be one that I start recommending more. It is kind of expensive as well when it comes to these carry guns, but it offers a ton of benefits that a new shooter could really utilize in that platform. Again, a little bit bigger though as far as concealed carry. And also the Equalizer, man. I've been carrying the Equalizer now for some time. I got a review coming out on this holster too, by the way. But regardless, man, the Equalizer is awesome. I tend to recommend the Shield Plus and some of these others more. And so over time, will that change? It could, because as new guns start to come out and improvements start to be made, some of these guns may fall off, others may fill those roles. So eventually there's going to be a part 2 to this video. I know that. So make sure if you like this type of content that you subscribe to the channel. It's absolutely free. Hit your notifications so you never miss a video from me. Share it with your friends. Drop me a like. All that good stuff. If you want to support what I do further and you want to check out some of the cool tier rewards I have and stuff, you can join this channel or you can come over to Patreon and join me there as well. I'll leave those links down below. Big thanks to you guys. See you in the next one. And as always, hold them down.